Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Jennifer Diamond channel. I'm Jennifer Diamond, and I'm a certified plant-based nutrition coach living a whole food, plant-based lifestyle for health and well-being, and it literally gave me my life back. Woo! And I'm so glad it did. And I know it can help you with yours too. So I am so happy you're here with me today, you guys. We are back home from our 3-week trip to Costa Rica. Wow, it was amazing. And it was just like this whirlwind. And frankly, we didn't really want to come home. But we actually got home really late last night. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. I just want to say hello to people in the chat. Hey, Plant-Powered Peddler, Janet is here. Hey, Janet, how are you? Marilyn Dubin's in the house. Welcome back, she says. Thank you so much. Cora Scorpy's here. Hi, Jennifer and Todd. It says this video thumbnail is spectacular, by the way. Hey, thank you so much. It's all like last minute. Welcome, everybody. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. So yeah, we had a couple different flights that we had to get onto. We had a layover in Houston. And when we got on the last leg of our trip, after a 4-hour layover, we were all seated, and then there were some storms, believe it or not, in Arizona. And so they said that they didn't get permission to take off. And so we ended up sitting in our seats, not knowing for how long, but it ended up being about 45 minutes. And just when they said we could get up and stretch, they opened the door. Then they said, we're ready to roll. And so I guess there were planes flying over Phoenix that couldn't land because of weather. There were some storms, but in Arizona, nothing really lasts that long. And so those planes were able to land, and we were off and on our way. But we didn't get home and situated and ready for bed until midnight. I got up at 5:30, and so there wasn't a lot of time to prep for today, but I wanted to come in on and talk with you anyways. And I basically thought I would share with you about our last week in Costa Rica. We came on live once a week, with the exception of the second week we came on twice while we were in Costa Rica. So if you haven't seen those and you're interested, check them out as a replay. And today I also want to share a simple tea recipe that doesn't actually have any tea in it at all, no leaves or anything, but it was so good. And we learned of it and about it when we were on this last leg of our trip. And so I wanted to share it and also answer any questions that anyone has. So feel free to interact with me in the chat, ask questions, share your thoughts, say hello to others if you'd like. And if you're new here, hey, tell us where you're from, because that is what is so awesome about going live, is that we can interact together in real time. And I just love that. So if you're watching this as a replay, I also just want to mention that you could still leave questions or comments in the comment section below as a replay, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So yeah, lots of different topics that we want to talk about. But one thing that I will say is that I guess we could start with just kind of putting together the tea thing, and then we'll go into it. So, while we were there, there were a lot of places, including this last week where we were, that offered teas, and I took some of them because I thought they were kind of fun. So I'm just going to show you some of the flavors that we have, if you could see it. This is a peppermint. This is cinnamon. It's just a cinnamon tea. So there's nothing, no caffeine, nothing. It's just shredded up, ground up cinnamon in a bag. So, I mean, you guys, we could do that here. I always add cinnamon, but I never thought about doing this. Chamomile, of course, hibiscus flower, green tea, teas. So that was really fun. But what was really kind of cool, they called it Luna's tea. And I'm just going to start making it really quickly before we get started so that it'll have time to brew. So I just have some water here. I like to use room temperature. I didn't have enough. because my Berkey was empty and I gotta prime it and all of that. So it's a little bit cold, but whatever amount of water you want to do, there's no recipe, so to speak. There's a few ingredients. And what I did was I took a scale. You don't have to take a scale, but just for sake of doing it. And I just made sure that I'm using equal parts. So you can eye it or whatever. And it's 3 things. It is, no way, cinnamon sticks. Cinnamon sticks. We've got some ginger, and I started to take the skin off of the ginger. If you're not, here's all the ginger. We're going to use a lot of ginger. This is a piece of ginger. If you're not familiar with just fresh ginger, it's amazing. And turmeric. That's it, you guys. So let me chop this up really quick with you, throw it in there, and we're going to get started. So if you decide to make this, I took a spoon and I peeled off with the spoon. I just kind of scraped off this kind of outside skin. Do you have to do that? No. And then I'm just going to slice it up. And, you know, there's no right or wrong way to do this. So I'm just slicing it up here. And this even has a little bit of the skin on it because I was running out of time. And you know what? It's okay if you don't want to peel it. Just throw the whole thing in. And you could do that same thing with the turmeric, the fresh turmeric. And I decided I didn't want to get my hands all orange, and I'm just going to leave it on there. But I did wash it. I did wash the outside, and I'm just going to cut it into some chunks here. And that's it. You can add as much as you want. I think it's best to add a lot because it will really be able to change the color, steep it, and get all these good, yummy things in there. And so now all I'm going to do is whatever container you have, it doesn't have to be something like this. You could even use like any kind of pot that you want. And I'm just going to literally put this in here. And I think if I had more, I would probably add more. I mean, I have more ginger, but I don't have more turmeric. And then I'm just going to put the cinnamon sticks in whole. This is it. This is it. It's amazing. I drink it every single day. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and let that do its thing. I want to bring it to a boil, let it simmer, cook a little bit for maybe 10 minutes. You don't even have to, 15 minutes, 10, 12 minutes. And then we are going to strain it. I didn't get my stuff out for straining. And that's it. You can serve it hot. You know, here we were in this jungle area, and it was so hot that I was like, oh, this tastes so great, but I don't want to drink hot. So every time we were having a meal or any time that I wanted it, I would ask, can I get a glass of ice? And so I was making my version of iced tea with it. Okay, so while that's going on, I want to share the location of where we were for the last part of this. Todd's going to put a map just so you can kind of see it. And in the middle, you might see where it says San Jose. That's where we landed in the airport. But down at the bottom, you'll see a red dot. That's where we were. And they call this area the Osa Peninsula. We stayed at a lodge called Luna Lodge with a lovely lady named Lana that owns it and created it. And so I just kind of wanted you to know where it was. So we started in San Jose and we got on a charter flight and we went down to the bottom there, and that area, there's nothing there. It was just literally like in the jungle. Okay, you can come back. And so I was hoping to share some photos with you guys, but we were scrambling to get it together. And so stay tuned because I know Todd's going to put together an amazing recap at some point soon of the whole trip. And I'm excited to share that with you guys. However, I do have a picture on my phone that I'm going to try to show you of our charter flight. And let's see if you can see this. Todd, can you see this? And let's see. Is it kind of hard to see? Let me see if I back it up. Yeah. We are standing right there, the two of us. It's not very clear, huh? And that is a tiny little charter flight. And On our way there, we got to meet a lot of people, and there were actually 5 of us on the flight. So there was the captain, the driver, I guess you call it pilot, not the captain. It wasn't the ship. Pilot. And then Todd was the co-pilot. I sat behind the pilot. A gentleman that I met, Michael, sat next to me, and his wife, Marilyn, sat in the back. And then we had our luggage in the back. That was it. That was a full flight. But on our way home, it was a pilot, a co-pilot, and Todd and I and our luggage. And so it was amazing. A little scary, but it was super fun. And so what we did was propeller, right? Windows open until we started to really catch air, and then they closed the windows. It was very loud. If I were going to change anything, I would probably put some earplugs in, which I had in my bag, but I didn't know what to expect. And we just went, and we had this beautiful 1 hour or 50-minute flight over the water. We saw the ocean, we saw the forest, I say the forest, but it was really the jungle. It looked foresty on top. Rainforest. It was so plush and so amazing. The water, you could see areas where it was just so clear. And anyhow, when we landed on a runway strip. How long would you say that runway strip was?
Not long enough.
Right? I mean, it was very short. I don't know how long, but it was very short. And then from there, both going and coming back, we got into the back of a pickup truck. And in the bed of the pickup truck was some places to sit down and hold on for dear life, because no paved roads, lots of potholes, gigantic rocks, and you're literally 4-wheel driving up to the lodge. Oh, but it was beautiful. And so, Rose Brudnack 7709 is in the house. Hello. Thank you so much for tuning in. We just started talking about this. So I just talked to you about the location, how we got there. And now I want to just share a little bit about the rooms, because we spent the entire week at this place. So they had 3 types of rooms. Gosh, I wish I could show you pictures, but not today. You will see pictures though. So there were the haciendas, which we stayed in. They were more of a traditional style of a room, but what was different about them is there was no air conditioning, no heating, no television, no phone, no internet, no web of any sort. There was a fan that was standing up with a plug. There was some electricity. And the room basically it did have 2 beds. We slept in I guess it was the larger bed. It was a king maybe.
Yeah, it was a queen.
And then a queen, you think? And then there was another bed next to it. I have no idea why, that we would put our stuff on, or maybe sometimes we would just lay on it. I don't know, but we didn't sleep in that one. There was an area to put some clothing, a bathroom with a very cool shower, and sink. That was it. That was our room. And then when you walk out, there were some screens on the windows, so there was always airflow, and you could hear all the birds and the monkeys and all of the wildlife in their happy place. I mean, it was pretty spectacular. And so outside we had some rocking chairs, and that was it. There were also bungalows that some people stayed on, and the whole thing was kind of situated up on a hill. So the haciendas were lower, and then you had to start walking. And when I say walk up steps, I mean, we were huffing and puffing when we had to go up. So everybody was. It was, I don't even know how far up, but staircase after staircase after staircase after staircase, high. And then it would kind of, go into these little areas where you might find a bungalow. And the bungalows were round bungalows. They had like what kind of roof was that?
Like a thatched roof, hut kind of a thing.
Hut kind of thing. Open, no screens. open on the top. So we did hear that some people said, oh, we had bats. Same thing, no electricity, no heating, air conditioning, anything like that. Those beds had the ability to put down some kind of a mesh netting, so no bugs or anything if you want to put it around your bed. And those were very lovely. And then the last option was the glamping tents. And they weren't standalone tents, but you did have a zipper, zip on the side. So kind of like a T, upside down T. And you can climb in there. I went into someone's because I wanted to see it. And they had 2 beds, a little walkway, and then a bathroom. And the bathroom was built in. Of course, there was plumbing and everything, but that was it. So you could choose what kind. So any questions about that? I don't see any so far. So who went with us? How did we get to do this? So this actually was a gentleman by the name of Deb Desalvo and his wife, Deb. They represent Ethos Farm, but they also have their own regenerative farming practices. And so they have gone there by themselves for their own vacation several times. And I guess at some point they were talking to Mark and Wanda Huberman, who represent the NHA, National Health Association, which I have been privileged to be featured in, and I recommend it. It's a beautiful and wonderful, both of those places, Ethos Farm and NHA, are wonderful things to check into. Ethos Farm is Dr. Ron Weiss. If you're familiar with him, it's his farm. And anyways, they decided, hey, the 4 of them, they're going to go on this vacation. Jason and Deb were going to show Mark and Wanda. And then they decided, what if we asked other people to join us? And we got the whole lodge. And that's what happened. I happened to be at Ethos Farm when they announced it, and it was enough time in advance. And so we signed up for it. Now, there were dozens of other people there. We met all kinds of new people. We saw some people that we had met before, and it was a lovely time. It was 2 weeks. Some people came for 1 week, first week, or second week. Some people stayed for both weeks. We went 2 weeks early and then had this last week there. And so that's how we found out about it. Now, because it was all of us, they were able to take a year in advance and teach the chefs and the kitchen staff how to cook the food, whole food, plant-based, SOS free the entire time. They had mostly gluten-free as well. If there was something with gluten, it was either marked or somebody announced it. And they did have a little tiny area where they said this is not SOS free. So for some people, especially with all the sweating and moisture and everything, some people actually needed a little bit of salt. So it was available to them, but there wasn't anything cooked in the food. And it was so cool. And so I was asking Wanda, how did you teach the chefs how to make the food that we all enjoy, those of us living in a whole food, plant-based lifestyle and SOS free? And she said that she gave them 2 cookbooks. One was Kathy Fisher. No, it wasn't. Kathy Fisher cookbook, and I think I have it here. She put together I should have brought them out. I'm sorry, I didn't put together a cookbook, and she works at True North. And that is where I did my water fasting. And so she gave them that book as just a very basic, easy to follow kind of way to understand what we do. And then also she said she gave them a cookbook that was, oh my gosh. What was the magazine I was in Chicago? Forks Over Knives. I kept wanting to say food because I'm thinking food. I apologize. Forks Over Knives cookbook. And so they took those recipes, experimented over the year, asked questions, and then the chef took his take on it as well. And oh my gosh, we really, really enjoyed it. They had a salad bar out. I'll tell you how they did this. So they fed us 3 times a day. It was all included. There were no snacks in between. So you either brought some snacks or you didn't. And if you did, do not leave them in your room. Critters and different things will find them. So they did have a refrigerator if anyone brought anything and they wanted to keep it there, which we did. We had brought some fresh fruit and used the refrigerator for a little bit. Anyways, it was fantastic. So breakfast was a salad bar style on the table. You go around buffet. There was always lettuce and tomato and onion. They would rotate it. Cucumber. What else was there? Zucchini. Yeah, no one can hear you.
Chickpeas, corn, cabbage.
And not the same thing every day.
No, it was always different.
And so, so you would get that, and then you would get the plated second breakfast, whatever it is. And if you didn't like that or it wasn't enough, you could always ask for oatmeal. And so that was wonderful. Do you want to share some of the breakfast choices? What did you have?
Oh, wow. So we had pancakes one day.
Pancakes? I just want to share the syrup wasn't maple syrup.
Mm-mm.
They actually had a strawberry. They took strawberry.
Like a compote.
A compote. And what that means is I don't know if they added anything else with the strawberries, but they basically cook it down. And it became a beautiful sauce. And then they had little tiny chopped up little pieces of fresh fruit on top. Go ahead. What else was there?
Yeah,
Do you remember?
I'm struggling to remember it all now. I mean, the food was just absolutely fantastic.
I'll remind you, there was a French toast.
Oh, yeah, the French toast.
There was pancakes. There was French toast. There was breakfast tofu scramble.
There was, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yep.
And those were just the main things. We have pictures of all this stuff. But that was, so you could have as much salad as you want, then you can have that, and then you can also have oatmeal if you wanted it or whatever.
Or sometimes both.
Or sometimes both, yes. And then there was this tea that's not really tea because there's no leaf in it. There was always water. The water was amazing. Amazing. The water was so good. You know, there are certain parts of Costa Rica where we had heard, be careful of the water. Okay. It can, you know, I don't know why, if it's not clean or whatever, it can make people have digestive issues, diarrhea, whatever. This water in this area, it was so good. In fact, side note, when we came home, I took a bath last night. Todd we showered and bathed. And I said to him, the water smells like metal to me. Like, do you smell this weird, like, metal? And what did you say?
I did.
Yeah. And that made us think like, wow, we never smelled that before. But because of where we came and the water experience there, I'm like, what can we do besides go back? We already have a million filters in this house, but it was a wonderful thing. So about lunch was the same thing. Another salad bar. And the dressings, let me share about the dressings. You could have, when I ask for lemon or lime, what they do is they bring lime, but the limes don't look like these limes, okay? The skin kind of does, but when you cut it open and look inside, it's orange. It's orange, but it's a version of lime. So you could squeeze that. They had balsamic vinegar you could put on top. They had some homemade dressings. Some of them, like I'm trying to think, one had cucumber. Do you remember? There were like
ginger, garlic.
Cucumber, ginger, garlic, yeah, lime. And they would make these different versions of them. I think some of them sometimes had even some cashews or other nuts. They did have raw nuts out there, or as close as you can. I mean, they weren't roasted and they didn't have any salt on them that you could put. And those were walnuts, almonds. There were sesame seeds, things like that. That was really lovely. And then they also had some like a bottle. You liked some sauce that you used on everything. You were going crazy about it.
It was fantastic. It was not SOS.
It was not
compliant.
SOS
There
free.
was salt in it, but it was absolutely incredible.
So that was his favorite, right?
Yeah.
And then they always had, and we didn't say at breakfast, they always had fresh fruit. Of course, Here we are in this tropical forest. We have the best fruit, you guys. And I got to say, I wanted to try that durian. Never found it. Asked, looked, Saw, checked, never found it. You know what that means? I got to go back. I hope it would be lovely. But we did have amazing papaya. Wow. Papaya was incredible. We had pineapple. The pineapple was the sweetest pineapple we have ever had, grown right there. Even on the property, we saw little tiny pineapples. They were growing pineapples right there in the front. And watermelon, those were staples. They had cantaloupe. It was just wonderful, amazing. Of course, anytime you can get fresh fruit or fresh veggies grown right there, it's always, I think, tastes the best. So, and then for dinner, that was always a soup and always a plated, always a plated meal.
It was always what was on the buffet table.
So the plated meal was breakfast and lunch. Right. I'm sorry, you're right. And then for dinner, it was always a soup and then salad bar style with like some other things. So maybe it would be Costa Rican style beans and rice, or there was some potato casserole thing one night. Sometimes they had a homemade fresh bread or something. And some of the lunches that we had, there was some kind of lentil style hamburger type thing, burger type thing. I shouldn't say hamburger, but a lentil burger. Mm-hmm. There were some, there were tacos, bean tacos. There was always cabbage. I mean, it was so that's what we ate. And then if you were hungry in between, you could purchase separately some smoothies. And we did because they were fresh fruit, and some of them had cucumber and greens and things like that. There was always flaxseed on the table as well. I'm thinking of other things, and it was just wonderful. So let's take a look at this really quick. It looks good. It is still going strong. I'm going to just let it do its thing still. The water is starting to change color. Maybe, let me see if this is safe for me to hold. I'm going to bring it a little closer so you guys can see what's happening here. But, you know, you just let it kind of do its thing. And you can go for as little as 10 minutes up to as long as you can. But I think it's taking longer because, like I said, I unfortunately had to start with cold water. But if you start with room temperature, nice clean water, the best that you can get, right? We can't get that great water. Then you will speed things up. Okay. So before we get into the things that we did there, I will share a couple of other things that I have right here. So, well, let me talk about this right here. Does anyone know what this is? Anyone know what this is? Come on, come on. I'm going to just show. Let's see. All right. If you know what it is, put it in the chat. Okay, but I'm going to tell you. So this is cacao nibs. Cacao nibs. Okay? Not just any cacao nibs. These, okay, so they grow the cacao pod. It's this big. And they grow it on the trees all over. These came from a neighboring farm or area. The lodge is growing them now. I don't know how many trees, cacao trees, 50 trees right now, but they are not ready. She said next year they'll be ready. So they are getting this from a neighboring area, which I don't even know. There was nothing there. I don't know where they're getting it from. But what they do is when the pods are kind of a rainbow color, they have yellows and orange and red on it, and it's ripe, then they take it off, and somehow you can cut around it. We saw on a tour we went to, this guy smashed it on the ground, which I shared before. And when you open it up, it looks like these little pods of white gelatinous. I wonder if I could find a picture of it. I know we don't know. He's saying there's too much. All right, well, that's fine. And so you can take one of the pods and put it in your mouth and suck it. And that outside is so sweet and delicious. But in it is the pod, is the actual chocolate like
bean.
Nut, bean. You don't want to you can eat it. You don't want to eat it like that. But so you would collect that, and then you would bake it, rinse it, bake it. And then you can even take that a step further. And then what's in there, they just crush up. So this is 100% just nibs. I'm going to try some. It's bitter, right? There's no sugar, but I like it a lot. So they said we had and we're going to talk about, we had a cacao ceremony, and I'm going to tell you about that in a few minutes. But they said, yeah, we could buy this if we want. And I was like, we can, duh, I'm doing that. So they brought out, this is so cute, right? It's not packaged. They said you can get the small, or you can get the large or the small. It's basically half. I forgot how many. I could weigh it to tell you how many ounces this is. And I was surprised. I don't know. I'm waiting for packaging, but it's just they're selling it from their neighbor's farm. So and what you could do with it, she said you could store it in the refrigerator. She did not say anything about the freezer. And what you could do is use it like anything else you might use, sprinkle it on some ice cream or add it into recipes. But you can also do a process where they kind of grind it up. They were making cacao little shots. They were cooking it, and they were making it with like a water base and giving it to us. And it wasn't like espresso or any, which I've never even had, but I mean, I know of that. But people were either drinking it or adding it to this tea, not tea, or they did have Costa Rican coffee available for people that wanted to do that. And I think, didn't you add it to, what did you add it to?
I added it to my Costa Rican coffee.
Okay. You need to come in here, say hi to everyone, and talk about that experience and what it tasted like.
Well, hello, everybody.
Hello.
Yes. Yeah, no, I mean, it's, it's hard to beat Costa Rican coffee, right? And they grow the beans right there and then grind them and make coffee out of them.
And so when you added this to it, though, like, what was that? What did that taste like, and why did you do that? And just share about like that experience.
So it's not like chocolate, right? So it doesn't actually melt like you would think chocolate would do in hot coffee. But it did add a little bit of a different flavor to the coffee flavor. So yeah,
it was ground way finer
much
than
finer
this.
than this, yeah.
And it was a liquid, right? That you could, do you remember?
No, it was just a powder, just like that. Well, it was more powdered.
Okay, I'm talking about when they gave it to us in a little shot glass and we were sharing.
Oh, that was a special drink that they made. Yeah,
and I thought that's what you added to your coffee.
Well, I did at one point. So I had this little, cacao drink that they make. But I didn't finish it, and I just poured the rest into the coffee, which was really good too.
And so what did that taste like?
Like cacao flavored coffee. So it was good.
It was good.
It was good. Again, it wasn't sweet chocolatey flavor, but it was still good.
But when I tasted it, it was, a hot liquid. Mm-hmm. And then towards the end, there were little grains in it.
Yeah.
Little grains. You sleepy, honey?
I am. It was a long day of travel yesterday.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So the last thing about that I want to share before we go into all the things that we did. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Side note. Before we got there, we went to a place called Nicoya. And Nicoya, I learned at the airport. I just didn't even, I kind of knew, but I didn't know. Nicoya is a blue zone. Are you guys familiar with the blue zones? If you're not, look it up. Blue zones are areas in the world, just a handful of them, where people live based according to their lifestyle and food and everything. A lot of people in the areas will live over 100 years old. Mm-hmm. And so we found a blue zone store in the airport, and I got really excited. And this says Blue Zone Nicoya. Let's see. Can you see that? And you think it's coffee, but it's not. It's caffeine free. It says morning brew coffee substitute. They had two choices. I went with this one. It's a blend of Costa Rican seeds and nuts. and Maya nut with cacao. That's what it says. And then there's some Spanish here, which I think is a difference. And then it says 100% natural, gluten-free, sugar-free. Oh my gosh. And then it talks about what the blue zones are. Dan Buettner, Blue Zone founder, National Geographic. It just goes on and has a little thing here on the back about it. And then it talks about Costa Rica on the side here. And so I haven't tried this yet, but I'm excited to. And on all of these packages, there's this like little, what do you call this little button thing?
A sniff window.
I love it. It is. And the lady showed us, you take the ends and you, and the air from inside allows you to smell it. So you could do that with coffees and everything else. The other one that they had was a blend of coffee and cacao. So anyways, I just wanted to share that because I got really excited about that. And they did have Dan cookbook, the Blue Zone cookbook there for sale at the airport. They had a whole section of all kinds of things. Anyways, it was lovely. And we did buy some coffee, got some coffee for our son, and Todd loves coffee too. And I actually tasted it. I don't think I've ever had a glass of, and I didn't have a glass there, I tasted it. Coffee in my life, I used to absolutely despise the smell of it. But I thought, well, I just was curious and, have nothing to compare it to other than it was black and I tasted it and I didn't run. So I'll just share this one is the pea berry. And it's supposed to be an area that's like this one area in Costa Rica. This is also a side note because this wasn't where our last week was, but since we're on this, I'll just share this last thing. And this particular coffee grows only for like a few months out of the year. So it's a certain area for a certain amount of time. So we decided this might be one to get to bring for the guys. So anyways, all right, what did we do? Oh, you know what?
No, what?
I keep saying, and then I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to tell you. Today's a special day. Come back here for a minute. Today, Todd and I are celebrating our wedding anniversary.
That's true.
Wedding anniversary.
Thing.
10 years of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Although we met 31 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And dated on and off, and then dated and lived together for 10 years before we got married 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And so happy anniversary.
Happy
sweetheart.
anniversary.
Yeah. And I kind of want to share it's such a unique thing that he gave to me. May I share it?
Of course you may.
Okay. So
Can we step out?
Oh, it's up to you.
Okay.
I am gonna bring it here.
I'll do over here.
Okay. So just real quick, because it's kind of cool. Look! It's boiling. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to turn it off and just let it sit there. So he gave me this box, and it's got this little cover here, which looks like a little book. And Todd, I'm assuming, made it. Yes?
Yes.
And it's just got little pictures, and it says more than 8.3 billion people in the world. And there's a map here, and it goes through. And it kind of shrinks down. And this one says more than 348 million people in the United States, more than 39 million people in California. And it's showing parts of the map, so the whole map, the United States, California, and it just continues to go on. Well, I'll just share the last few. More than 843,000 people in Ventura County, which is a county in California, more than 124,050 people in Agora, Thousand Oaks, Westlake, this certain area within the county. And then it says, just to find you. And we met on the side of the road. I met him on the side of the road many years ago, and you can't see it, but it's a little map. And it's got a blue dot, and that's the street that we met. Isn't that sweet? I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. And a lot of people are saying happy anniversary. Of course, Scorpy, happy anniversary, you too. Thank you so much. Marilyn Dubin, happy anniversary. Thank you. Rose Brudnack, congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And so I opened this box up and I see the name on here that I know, and it's hard to see. It's kind of embossed and kind of pressed in here, and it's Cornelis Hollander. It's a friend of ours. Her husband was a jeweler, and it's his jewelry store, and I'm like, what is in this big box? So anyways, when I opened the box, this was in it. Now, what is this? I got to show you because it's so cool. This is that last picture. It is, oh gosh, can you see it? It's the actual map, the streets, and that blue dot is a little diamond. Isn't that cool? And then on the outside is my birthstone. Thank you, honey. That was a really cool original thing that you made, and I thought it was fun to share. So anyhow, okay, the chocolate that we got, it came from a place called, how do you pronounce it? Osakop?
Osakop.
Osakop?
Sure.
Or Osakop? I don't know. We've been making up the names.
Yeah.
But
it's in Costa Rica.
Osa Peninsula. So I had it here because I wanted to share that. Okay. So yeah, so it's been a wonderful morning, and so let's talk about the things that we did there. So we got there, we were there for 7 days. I told you how we got there, and then Sunday when we got there, we just got settled, and we went and walked to a nearby waterfall hike, where we learned that they have ticks there. Yeah, we weren't prepared for that. Todd got a tick. I was so glad I didn't. I'm like, oh my God, that sounds terrible. Of course, I ended up getting 2 over the week. So these ticks do not carry Lyme's disease or any disease. So we were told it's not like what you find if you're in the East Coast. But they were teeny tiny little black kind of dots. And so we had to inspect each other and shower and scrub, and everybody seemed to be getting these, and they were just, take a tweezer and just pull it out and discard it. Ugh. But anyhow, he got one, and we panic, right? Because that's not something we're used to. Anyways, so we went to the waterfall, and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful hike. Share a little bit about your thoughts about that short hike distance, or what you saw, or whatever.
I mean, it was a pretty technical little hike. I mean, there was a lot of tree roots that were across the trail, and a lot of elevation change and things like that. So it was not just a flat, easy, well-maintained path.
Oh, right. None of them were.
No, it took some, some skill to get through.
There were some steps that were kind of created in there. And yeah, and do you remember what we saw that first day? Did we really see anything there? I don't know if we saw a lot that day.
We saw one of the guys coming back up that same trail, and we were literally like 3 minutes from the waterfall, and he saw a tapir.
Explain what that is. You want to come in?
It kind of looks like a small hippopotamus with a pig's face.
I think it was closer like a to like a. What do we have here?
No, you're talking about the peccary, which looks like a javelina, which is what we have out here.
Oh, okay, you're right.
This is like a tiny, well, not tiny. Well, it is a tiny elephant, but it's not a tiny animal. And it's got, like an elephant's nose.
Yes. And they are not really seen very often.
No.
And he didn't.
And everyone gets very excited when you talk about them.
Yeah. So did we see them?
We did not see one.
We saw the picture. And we missed him by just maybe a few minutes.
Maybe a minute.
A few minutes.
Yep.
But the waterfall was a small kind of waterfall. We could put our feet in there, and you could go in, and you could actually go in quite high, and then you could actually go under if you wanted, and then you can continue walking. And there were some other waterfalls we did not do.
And there was a second layer or level to the waterfall that we didn't go to.
We didn't go to. We were tired. And we realized, wow, it's hot here.
Yeah, and humid.
Humid. We're like,
we're fine with the heat.
What is that, moisture?
Yeah. Why am I sweating?
So that was pretty much what we did the first day. The second day was actually my birthday. I got to spend my birthday there, and I was really excited. So I was like, what do I want to do for my birthday? Well, they offered yoga in the morning, and that's something, an extra. They offered some extra things that if you wanted to participate in, you could pay to be part of that class.
Mm-hmm.
And so tell everybody, how would I get to the yoga studio?
So there was two apparently yoga platforms. The lower one,
which is where I took the class,
was about 150 steps up, I understood. And that was the lower of the two platforms.
And the stairs are well maintained.
Yeah, so the steps to get there are,
it's on
very
the
well done. It's,
of the lodge.
And the bungalows and the tents are,
scattered
amongst them. But it's a hike.
Yeah. And so when I get to the top, because we did walk up there too, I think that first day actually, because I wanted to see it, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when I got, because you chose not to do yoga.
Nope, I chose to drink coffee and sit in a hammock.
Yes, there were hammocks.
That was my version of yoga.
Chairs and meditate and enjoy.
Yes.
But when I got out there, up there, I should say, there was a covered roof, but it's all open, and it kind of protrudes out and can fall. There's like a cliff, and just you see this magnificent more jungle and rolling hills and the sky. And there's a slight breeze, and it was just magical. And they put out yoga mats and some, pillows for people to use. There were blankets, and the gentleman that taught this class also, he did it with Lana, the owner. They did it together, so they would do different parts of it. It was about an hour. It definitely was at least an hour. And what is that thing that he played?
I have no idea what that was, but it was super cool.
Let's
that instrument.
Explain it.
I don't know that I can. It was like it looked like a children's toy piano thing, but
with
it was
a what do you call that?
Like an accordion.
Yeah, attached to it. It was like a piano with an accordion.
But it wasn't an accordion. It sat on.
It was a wooden. Yeah, but he could pick it up.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It's very bizarre. I'm going to look it up and figure it out.
Yeah, he was playing that.
Beautiful.
And he was singing, and it was all in the Indian language, right? Well,
Costa Rican?
No.
Spanish?
No. When you
Indigenous?
do yoga, meditation.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah. We're very experienced. And it was
another language.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. And it really was nice. We did some breathing and a yoga, and we went around the room and talked a little bit about our levels, our experience, if we had any injuries, and then did the class, and it was lovely. And then he also did singing bowls.
Yeah.
Lots of singing bowls and all kinds of things. Yes.
I will add, while you're up on this platform overlooking the rainforest canopy, and I'm, 6,000 feet lower in elevation, drinking coffee, sitting in a hammock. It's amazing that in both of those places, and every single day, we're surrounded by scarlet macaws and toucan. And at 5:30 in the morning, you're waking up not to roosters crowing, but to howler monkeys.
Yeah, we were going to talk. That's great. Yeah.
And it was fantastic.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
Our fan we had on in the room, and it was loud because we just needed some circulation.
Well, because the jungle is very loud at night.
I wore earplugs. Yeah. Earplugs. I have custom earplugs, and I took them and I wore them.
The crickets and the frogs and everything, and you're in the middle of the jungle, right? So there's no traffic noise or planes going by.
Nothing.
It's just
street lights. Nothing.
The
moon, the stars, and the jungle.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So thank you for
You're
sharing
welcome.
that. And then the rest of my day was I did Watsu. If you're familiar with that, it's a water therapy, and Todd also did that. And then we spent the day just hanging out. And then at the end of the day, after dinner, everybody kind of surprised me and saying happy birthday to me, which was really fun. And then the owner had told the kitchen to make me a birthday cake, and they surprised me. And they brought out a two or three tier cake made all out of fruit, watermelon, grapes, the star fruit, strawberries. And so I cut it up and I went around to every table there. There were probably about 35 people in our group, would you say?
Yeah, probably.
And I said, would anybody like to share my birthday cake? And everybody, pretty much most everybody tried a piece of it just to share in that. So that was my day. That was Monday. It was really great. I don't see any questions, so I'm just going to keep chatting away here. On to Tuesday, we did kayaking. Get up at 5 a.m. and be down in this area. And I didn't really I wanted to do kayaking, and we did. But the 5 a.m. part was a little rough. But do you know what? It was so worth it. So every time we leave to do anything, if you're not walking down that road, the road that they brought us there from the airport strip, you're in the back of this truck, this bed holding on, and you get down there. And so we each were on an individual kayak for the sunrise. And our guide would show us, point out different birds, share, because you're really good at some of the names, and I'm still learning some of the things that we saw, if you remember, besides macaw birds and some of the monkeys.
Yeah, we saw, I think, 3 or 4 different species of heron.
Come talk, and I'm going to get the stuff to drain this at the same time and share about the kayaking. And then we also did an avatar experience that day.
White cattle heron. There was the boat-billed heron, which had a very long, flat bill. We saw a great blue heron. All kinds of parrots.
Different than what we have here.
Yeah.
Anything.
Hawks. Oh, there was the tiger heron. That was the one.
Yes. Yes. So you could look up some of this stuff.
It's just incredible bird life out there.
And share about the app that people might be interested in that we learned about and both put on our phone.
Yeah, it's called Merlin. I think it's by Cornell University or
MERLIN.
Something like that. But,
yep, I'm going to pull it up and see if I can show.
It's a cool app if you're into birding. It's free.
It's a free app.
And
here it is. MERLIN bird ID, and it's a picture of a bird. Oh, it's not really showing it. Well, it's right here. You can't see it.
It's got,
okay.
When you hear a bird chirping, you push the button and it identifies the bird. And then you can mark that bird as, that's the same bird I'm looking at. And then it adds it to a list of all the birds that you found. And
it'll show you pictures.
Shows you pictures, gives you information about the birds.
It's really cool if you're into that.
If you're into bird watching.
Yeah. And then the avatar experience was later. It was a group of us. And one thing that the lodge offered was a free, something free. So you could do either yoga or the avatar or something else. And we did the avatar as our complimentary thing. And they basically take blue clay that's powder, blue clay, like an earth clay. And they have a blue one, and they had different colors. I don't remember.
There was a dark brown, a medium brown, a cream,
and something that wasn't red, but
it was like a brick red looking color,
and
like Adobe almost.
We came in our bathing suits to the pool area, and there were all these bowls and paintbrushes and rollers and different things, and you paint yourself however you want. And it's called the Avatar Experience, kind of like, if you've seen the movie The Avatar, just to, kind of give it a fun thing. And so we were playing and getting into character, but it's supposed to be a healing experience. So the more area you cover and let it dry, the more healing. So if you're having digestive troubles, they would say, rub it here. Some people have arthritis or knee issues. They were rubbing it there, but we were also playing. So we did. And we have pictures of that to share. And then as a group, after we were done painting each other. Like we were painting ourselves, but we were painting each other, all of us. And it was really fun. There was music and it was fun. Then we walked down to that waterfall again.
Yep.
And then what you do is you wash off in the waterfall. It was really great. And your skin feels so soft. And that was the experience.
It's fantastic.
Whoa. Want to add anything to that experience?
It was a lot of fun. It was a good time.
Okay, on to Wednesday. Wednesday morning, we got up again early and we went on a tour of the area where we were to do bird watching. And we did see a bunch of birds. And it was really fun. And I started making a list and I can't remember a lot of the names because they're unusual, different, but the colors of the birds. I mean, we even saw hummingbirds there, but some of the colors, a lot of the colors were so vibrant. I've never been into like bird watching. I never really got it, but it's easy to do when you're in that environment. And then we also took a sustainability tour, which was offered by the owner of the property. And she was talking about all the things that they have done to make this area off-grid and how the water system worked and how the plumbing worked. Everywhere in Costa Rica, they don't flush their toilet paper. That was news. And so they don't either. They have like a little garbage can and they ask you not to put your toilet paper in the toilet because they said that they had very sensitive, water systems, sewer systems, septic sewer, and so it was important. And it was weird for us because we're like, we're going to do what? But we did it probably 98% of the time. I did. I can't speak for Todd. I think he was not a super fan, but
96%.
96%. So yeah, any small thing that you want to add that she taught us about sustainability on the tour? Anything that stuck out to you?
No, it's just, it was interesting to me that I should just come back.
Yeah, come back, honey.
I should just stay here and stop walking off camera.
You should.
No, I mean, she talked about, water supply and where the water comes from and how they generate electricity and, because they're out in the middle of nowhere, essentially out in the rainforest. So, it's a combination of solar power and hydroelectric and all this other stuff. It was really fascinating to just kind of learn, about why sometimes there are no lights.
Or the power went out a few times.
Or the power went out.
Why there was no lights, the power would go out.
Why is it sometimes your shower is not hot anymore?
Yeah. We didn't always have hot water.
That's right.
And they're like, well, if you don't have hot water, just come and tell maintenance and we'll check it. Sometimes we just have
sometimes it's not going to get hot. Sometimes it's just going to be cold, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
It's you're getting your water from whatever was at the top of the rainforest, 3 hours before that, and it's working its way down, and they've got pipes, and it's just very different than what we're used to.
And they did a lot of the work.
Oh yeah.
And so she would talk about each piece of rock or stone that created the paths, that created barriers and different things. They would walk down or drive down to the water area where I don't know if it was the beaches or wherever there were water sources on her property, and they would bring it back in and they would lay it all. I mean, everything was done. So she knew so much about everything.
It's been a 20+ year
in the making,
in the making kind of a thing.
And her house burnt down at one point, and she almost lost everything. But anyhow, thank you for sharing that. Yep. Anything else you want to share about that?
About sustainability?
Yeah.
No, it was just really cool.
It was really cool.
It was really cool.
And then that night, we went on a turtle walk. And before I talk about that, I just want to read Rose Brednack 7709 says, did you see any wildcats? And Todd messaged here, we saw domestic cats. Yes, we did. The only wildcat he wrote we saw, wild cats we saw were at a wild animal rescue we visited on our first week there. And that is true. We did not see any on this last leg. And then we have C. Jane Shot. Welcome. Sorry I missed you. I was there for the first week. No worries at all. Thank you for being here now. And please feel free to ask any questions. But we went to this turtle walk because this was like turtle mating season. No, not mating season. It's where they come up on the beach, these gigantic turtles, and they lay their eggs and they bury them and then they go back in. And it's supposed to happen. How often does that happen? Do you remember? Isn't it like a once a year thing, I think?
I mean, there's a season for it.
Season for it. And so, but it was also the full moon. They were very in tune to the moon and how the moon affects everything. And, a lot of people, a lot of people may have during your life heard of or believed in or learned about your cycle and the moon and the connection. It wasn't about that, but it was just overall different things about the moon. So they were saying, we don't know because it's a full moon if the turtles are going to come out. And it was a beautiful moon. But they said, let's do it a few days later. We went to this turtle walk. We drove down there. We walked on the beach, walked and walked and walked and walked. We saw I thought it was a truck tire track. It was a turtle that had already come up before we got there, probably laid eggs. How many eggs? They said anywhere approximately 120 eggs. And they bury them, and then they turn around and they go back and they go. And they don't come back. And those turtles, if they make it, some of them don't. Some of them get found and eaten and different things. But there's a process where after a certain amount of time as a little turtle there, they end up staying in the area for a certain amount of time. Then they go off and do their life. But when it's time to lay eggs again, they remember where they were born somehow, and they go back to that area. That I thought was really cool. So we didn't see that. So we kept walking and walking, and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, we spotted a turtle. Our guide, he was so excited. He's telling us, shh, no lights. It was all these rules. We had to, not disrupt them. And we saw this big black, turtle shell walking, it looked black because it was a shadow. It was kind of out there, walking out of the ocean. And it came out, and then something happened, and it turned around and left. So we didn't actually see the happening, but we were hoping to be able to watch them do the process of laying the eggs and burying the eggs. And they say it's a 2-hour process, but we didn't. But we tried, and it was a beautiful night, and we enjoyed it anyways. Oh yes, Rose Brudnick says the tides. The tides, yes. That makes me think of the tide is high, but I'm moving on. I'm gonna be your number one. Okay.
All right, moving on. Moving on.
Come on, you guys, we have to have fun. So Thursday, we did something called forest bathing. And I shared this with the group because they were saying everybody got in a circle before we started, and they said, what do you know about forest bathing, or what are your thoughts? I was the only one that said, I thought we were actually going to bathe in the forest, like in a waterfall. No, there's no water involved at all. Share about that while I strain this, if you would. What is forest bathing, and what did we do?
It's very much just about actually not speaking and just listening to the forest and taking in the natural sounds and the energies and the sensations of just being in the forest and being, kind of communing with nature.
Yeah. So, whoops. If you have more to say, come and say it here. But I just want to mention that what I would do is strain it. I'm not going to do the whole thing because it's really hot. And then here you go. Here's our tea. So I'm going to pour this. You could do an iced tea or a hot tea. I'm going to pour this while you finish sharing if there was anything else about forest bathing that you wanted to share. Otherwise, I will drain the rest in a little while. But yes.
No, it was fantastic. I mean, it really was a unique experience. There's so much going on in our lives on a regular basis, when we're here.
When we're in our reality, right?
In the States, right? I mean, there's just so much coming at you from all different places, to be completely silent and in the space where you're hearing nature be, just nature. It was really fantastic.
It was really fantastic.
We did a couple of exercises. One was called camera and photographer, where
oh yeah, that was fun. You get a partner. Go ahead.
You get a partner, and one partner is the camera, and the other person is the photographer, and you point the camera with their eyes closed.
Like, go ahead, like do it like.
So if I'm looking at something, I point my camera toward it with her eyes closed.
Like you find something.
Yeah, I find something that I'm looking at.
Okay.
And I say, okay, open your eyes.
Okay, and so I'm looking at this area.
And then she describes what she sees. And then I describe what I was looking at. And you find that sometimes you're looking at the same thing, but see different things in that same thing. So it was a fascinating thing about the difference between looking and seeing.
Yes, looking and seeing.
Oh, it was a fascinating thing. Probably one of my favorite experiences there.
Oh, it was really a favorite? That's awesome, honey.
It was.
I mean, I really enjoyed it too. And then I kind of, with my partner, I said, one thing that I really would like to do is take my shoes off and do earthing or grounding. Mm-hmm. And there were a lot of bugs and I got a little intimidated to do that. And my partner said, well, if you do it, I'll do it. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So we took our shoes off and we were carefully, because our feet are not used to that, walking through and then sharing it with the group later. And then a lot of people took their shoes off, not everyone. And it was fun.
It was.
So yes. And then I did Reiki and tarot cards. Reiki. Are you familiar with Reiki, you guys? Boy, it was really a super interesting experience. So I won't go into the whole thing. You could look up what Reiki is, but it is a healing thing. It's a non-touch therapy or massage, but it's not really a massage. And this one was, she was calling to the spirits. She was making bells and music and talking to the Mother Earth and Father Sky, and she had me laying on a crystal bed. So she had all these crystals, amethyst and just different crystals on a bed, thousands of them, and they were in a shape. There was a circle, and she had rolled out a towel that was a strip, and she had me get on the bed and lay on the crystals. And I had my eyes closed, and she was doing stuff around me, and bells and chimes, and it was a very meditative. And she said it's probably something that we could possibly see, like a past. She said you might have a past relative come and visit. And she claims that there was someone there. I didn't see her, but I did feel very connected. It was really interesting. And then she read my tarot cards, and I spent an hour and a half, 2.5 hours with her. Mm-hmm. We got really connected. So that was fun. Have you guys ever done Reiki or tarot cards? Let me know. And yes, C. Jane Schultz says Lana's tea. Yes, here it is. And so I liked to make it, I'm going to put this because it's hot here. I like to make it like an iced tea version. So I got some ice here. Do you want ice in yours, or do you want to sip it? Yeah. So I like to really make it, so we can get more ice if you want, because this isn't going to, we got to get more ice. Want to scoop some out for me? I'll do it then. Okay, you'll do it. We'll do it. And you can add a sweetener if you want. We didn't. There was honey there, even though that's not vegan, but some people enjoyed that. And that was really the only sweetener there that I saw. They didn't have any dates or anything, but just just having it. He's going to get some ice in the bowl, and I'll just add it here. And we're going to have this here. So you could do it hot. You don't have to do it cold. So I don't see. Oh, yeah. So Rose says, sounds like an awesome experience. It really was. It was really cool. You guys should check it out if you want. We can let it cool. I mean, I would really add more ice even than this, but this is good. And so let's taste this and share about this. Okay. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
That's special to be able to have that here at home.
That's fantastic to have that here.
Super simple.
Yeah.
You got to try it. You got to try it. If you like tea, I like that there's no caffeine, there's nothing that keep me, and it's just such
3 ingredients.
So good. And it's good for you.
Yeah.
It's cleansing, and it's anti-inflammatory and delicious. Mm-hmm. I love that there's cinnamon flavor. You're not a big cinnamon flavor guy. So what do you think?
I like it. I liked it when we were drinking it there, and I like it better there because, well, you're there.
Yeah. So
who doesn't want to be in Costa Rica?
Well, maybe somebody doesn't.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, moving on. I know we're going over a little, but I got to finish sharing the rest of the week. We are on Friday. And what we did Friday, that was like our down day. We didn't really have any scheduled anything that we needed to do. I ended up doing yoga twice that week, and Todd didn't do it at all. I may have done it Friday but I decided at the last second. And then did I sign you up? When did you have Todd had a massage? Was it the day before? I forgot when it was, but was it the day?
It was the day after.
No. Well, it doesn't really matter. I think it was Friday on our down day. Yeah. I kind of said, you should get a massage. We weren't going to do that. And he didn't want to. And anyhow, long story short, a few of us talked him into it. Just do it. Come on. This lady there, she doesn't speak any English, very little. She was such a sweetheart. She's been a masseuse for over, I think, 30 or 35 years. And I always think that, because I like massage, some people don't. I know I have family members that don't. I love it. But when you go to certain areas, like when I was in Japan, I did one where they came to the room, didn't speak Japanese. It's a different style. It's a different experience. So that's what I was looking for. And I was hoping that Todd would share in that. And he did. And it was different. Come on back, share about it. And then I will share about my massage, which mine was really different. Just share about how it was different than a regular massage.
No, I mean, it was good. It was just a deep tissue massage, but the pulls and
share what that is.
Squeezing and the stuff was. So it wasn't kneading massage. It was more very long strokes.
Like
yeah, just like that. Keep doing that. So it was just like this. Yeah. No, but it was good. It was really nice.
Yeah.
It was nice. I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, I'm glad you did too. And then I had a massage with her as well. And I'm like, I want to do something really different. And so I signed up for a chocolate massage. Yes, you heard it. It was a 2-hour massage, an hour of, it's basically exfoliating using chocolate and coffee grounds. And she puts the chocolate sheet on, which was just like a brown sheet, a chocolate colored sheet. And then she took a container, opened it up. The whole area smells like chocolate. It's outside. It's all open. And there's just a covering. And she took some coffee grounds, fresh, and poured it in there because it makes to exfoliate, and stirred it up, mixed it up. She had me lay down and literally covered me in chocolate and coffee. Does this whole thing along everything. And then she goes back and takes just the chocolate, which was kind of reminding me of like a pudding, and does it with that. Oh my God. And leaves me in it. and she does my whole entire body. My whole entire body.
Which part?
I mean, it was really like, except for maybe my little EE and the Cracker Jack. I mean,
The EE and the Cracker Jack? Is that anatomically correct?
But I mean, I was like, wow. And then I had my, and then she asked me to give me, he's still laughing over there. She asked me, she didn't speak English, to put my hands out, and she scoops it on each one of my hands. And then she tells me, like, do your breasts, do your boobs. So, because I had a sheet on, and I was like, okay. So I did that. And then she wraps me up in a sheet to exfoliate and kind of relax. And then while that's all covered, she does my neck and my ears and everywhere except obviously my eyes and my lips. And she had asked me, is the hair okay? I was thinking, yeah, well, if you get a little chocolate, that's no big deal. Oh, no. She took my ponytail out. She put chocolate through my hair, rubbed my scalp. I personally loved it. I really did. And then she wrapped it, covered my eyes, and she started doing a rain stick, which is a hollow wooden stick that has some kind of bead or coffee bean or something in it. And when you turn it over, it makes the sound of like rain. And she did a lot of different scents with my eyes closed. I think I smelled like a mint. I think at another time I smelled like a citrus or an orange. And I'm thinking those mix really well with chocolate. Then she also did like some bells and just like wind chimey stuff. It was very relaxing. And that was an hour long. After that, she wiped my feet, the bottom of my feet, and had me get up. And she said, do not use soap or shampoo. Just wash with water only in their shower, private shower, but it's open to the forest on the top. It was amazing. And so I did do the belly button, do your ears, do everything, all the grooves and everything. I almost scared myself when I went in there and saw myself in the mirror. I was like, "What?" So then you wrap up in a fresh towel and you go back on the table. She changes the sheet and you get an hour chocolate oil massage. And that included my hair as well. Mm-hmm. And it was just something I'd never done before. I got to tell you, in the States here, if you get a massage if they ever take my hair out, at the end, you put your own hair up. She took a hairbrush and brushed my hair really wonderfully. And then she put my ponytail back in. And for me, it brought me back to my childhood. It was very soothing. It was really cool. So that was that experience. And then we finished out the day doing a hike people call the loop. It took us an hour, and I don't know how far of a distance it is, but when you're in the forest doing this hike loop, we were profusely sweating because we're down under, and there's monkeys all over on top. Like they climb tree to tree over our heads, and there were different kinds of monkeys. We didn't see the howler monkeys then, but we saw the capuchin monkeys, and there was another monkey that we saw.
Spider monkey.
Oh yeah, the spider monkey. It was really cool.
And squirrel monkeys.
We saw squirrel monkeys and birds, and so that was the end of that day. And we had 2 more days left. So Saturday we went to something called Corcovado Park. It was a tour. We had to get up again. But we started really getting up early, even when we didn't need to get up early. It was just wonderful. And that Corcovado Park tour took about 8 hours.
Yep.
8 hours. And I have some really awesome blisters. It was through the forest in a natural park. We saw coati, a family of them, and they were really close to us. And one got spooked and jumped up in a tree that was probably, I don't know, 2.5 feet away from us.
Yep.
And he grabbed the tree and he looked to the side, and then he looked to the other side right at us. And I was like, just holding the camera, trying to video, and then he jumped down, and I thought he was going to come to us. I got a little nervous, but no, they didn't. They didn't mind us at all. There were babies. It was beautiful. And for the first time in my life on that tour, I saw anteaters, and there was a mommy with a baby anteater on the back. And anything that you saw there that you want to mention or share?
We saw tarantulas, all kinds of lizards. We saw poison dart frogs.
Yes. And those are green and black. And we learned about how they become poisonous and different things.
Yeah.
Poison dart frogs.
We saw all 4 species of monkeys that same day.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we also, part of it was walking on the beach. And we went through somebody's property where they had horses, and then we went down to the beach. We walked across onto the beach for a while, and then we came to not just the ocean, but then there was water off to the side. I guess it would be like a little, not a wading pool, but that pool of water is still the ocean, but just
it was brackish water, so it was a combination of the seawater that had come up from high tide and the fresh water from the river that was feeding in.
And you could see right down to it. And our guide, I said, can we go in it? He said, yeah, if you want to. I'm like, yeah, I don't have a towel. I'm sweaty. I have no bathing. I just am in my clothes. And so that's what I did. I took my shoes off and I got in that water. There were little tadpoles and fish. There were tadpoles, like hundreds of them, and little fish. And I kept saying to everyone in our group, you guys, this feels so good. Everybody should come in. And everybody didn't want to. And then everybody did. And it was really, really fun. And we saw just more stuff.
Crabs and hermit crabs everywhere.
Hermit crabs, you guys, they're little tiny with the shell, and they kind of walk sideways, and it was really fun. And then, of course, when we went back, we stopped, and a lot of people there make a living by selling coconuts. I don't know, there were people living in tents, not there, but near the airport strip. And they sell coconuts. So we saw somebody in front of his house. I don't know how they get the coconuts down. These trees are so high, and they have them in a cooler. And we came and we asked for coconuts, and there he goes, and he smashes them open with the machete, and has a straw and gives it to us. When we're done drinking it, he cuts it open for us and takes part of the top, the lid when he cut it, so we could have the straw in here. And he takes that part after he cuts it in half and uses it as a spoon, and just kind of scoops and leaves it there so then we can use it as a spoon. And so that was after all that walking and stuff. It was really refreshing. And then the end of that day was a cacao ceremony. And that was like nothing I've ever experienced before. They talked all about the cacao. They shared it in a drink. And then we had a ceremony. And it was, Shavasana, if you've done yoga, they had a Shavasana. They had us each take a maraca, or some kind of a shaky instrument, and pick a card. And we went around the room. I guess the Shavasana resting was later, but we went around the room sharing what our card was. I had a lamb and what that might mean. What did you have?
I had a panther.
That's right. The Black Panther.
The Black Panther.
The Black Panther. And so that was really fun. You say your name and your animal and what you think about it. And then they did more music and singing, and we were shaking, and it was so cool. And then we went out onto this area, because this was taking place where we did the yoga. And we look at the sky. It's starting to rain, and there's this cloud off in the distance, and there is a beam of light going straight up from the sun, but it wasn't beam everywhere. It was magical. So that was that. Yeah. Anything you want to add to that?
No, it was super cool. Again, the whole light coming through the cloud thing was truly magical. And again, you're doing all this, and while there are scarlet macaws flying by and toucans in the trees,
So
doing their thing, and it's just absolutely incredible to be in that space.
Yeah, and then our last day, we had an opportunity to do a personal photo shoot. We decided to do it for our anniversary, and so there was a photographer. He did all kinds of things. He helped us sign up for things. He was just a man of lots of trades that we got to know there, and so he took me first and did a bunch of pictures, and then I went back and he took Todd and did some pictures, and then he had us doing them together. And so we're looking forward to getting those from him. But it was just a fun thing. He was trying to get us to look seductive and sexy, and it was just fun and kind of silly and whatever. My hair the entire time was a curly disaster. Yes, C. Jane says there was also an assortment of fresh fruits, which I mentioned earlier. Absolutely, there's always fresh fruits. Thank you for bringing that up again. And then later that day, they started. Well, for us, it was later that day, but that morning, people started going back on the charter flights. One at a time, whoever was on there, and we were on the last one of the day. And I shared with you at the beginning that it was just the two of us. They did give us lunch. We had breakfast that day, lunch that day,
Yep.
and then a snack to go, which was a bean and vegetable burrito, which was really nice, and some fruit, some fresh fruit. Yes. And so we went back to San Jose, Costa Rica, and we stayed the night in a hotel there. And then enjoyed that evening together. Kind of magical and mystical. It was like, wow, we were just there and now we're here. And then the next morning, which was yesterday, we flew home, and it was a long day. So that was our trip. I tried to share a lot. I know I went over our hour. Thank you for hanging in there. Nobody really had any questions. Thanks for the comments. I really hope it was enjoyable. And one of the things that I really like about sharing this with you guys is I want to share the experience, because maybe, you haven't had the opportunity to go to this area before, but maybe it'll inspire you. Maybe it will have you thinking about saying yes to adventures when they come, when opportunity comes your way. Say yes. There was a time, if you know me and you know my story, when I couldn't do it. I couldn't do anything. And I remember saying, if I ever get out of this bed, man, I'm going to travel. I'm going to do this. I wanted to live. And living outside of just doing laundry and housework, right? And cooking and all of that, which I love, but and so we plan, we make sacrifices, we explore, and we do it. And I want you to do it too, if it's something, and if travel's not your thing, whatever it is, right? For somebody else, it might be zip lining, or I don't know, swimming in the ocean, or whatever. Whatever it is, say yes to adventures. So I want to thank you guys for hanging in there, for joining me. I forgot to mention about these. I got these little bracelets from a lady at that location. It was a mother-daughter. I'll just tell you really quickly. And the daughter was deaf. She didn't speak, but she did this. She did this to make money, and her mother didn't speak any English, and we just wanted to support them. And there's so much more I could share, but I guess for now, I will just sign off. And I just want to say thank you so much again for tuning in, for spending this time with us. And we really, really enjoy sharing with you. We're glad to be home. We are, even though we really didn't want to come home yet. We had to. And so I just want to remind you, don't forget to eat your greens, everyone, and give plants a chance. We have people saying, thank you, Jennifer, and thank you, Todd Korskorpy. Thank you. And we will see you next time. Take care, everyone. Con gusto, Korskorpy. Yes, thank you for sharing your wonderful adventure. Thank you, Marilyn. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next time.